Brad, I know you're looking forward to every game, and every game's an opportunity, but to go into Vancouver and play a team that's fighting for top spot and everything they still have to play for, do you see that as a real opportunity for your group and even some of your young players?
Sure. I mean, you still want to put your best effort on the ice, and I think when you're playing against the top team in our division right now that still has something on the line, we know what type of game we'll get for them, and it does. It gives us an opportunity to see some younger players against some of the best players, I guess you can go that direction. So, there'll be some lineup changes for us tomorrow night, and then from there it's just a matter of going out there and working and playing a smart, hard road game.
How are you excited maybe to see the likes of Connor Zary going up against a team that's got great center depth and how he can handle that?
Well, we want to see him continue to take steps in that position for sure. I think he's done, as we talked about last night, I think he's done a really good job so far. The LA game is a tougher game because they have the depth that you're alluding to, and Vancouver is very similar in that regard. So all the matchups that they choose to go with are going to be challenging ones for all of our centers. So Connor's no different than others, but it's a great opportunity for him to see if he can raise his level against a really good team.
Keeping in mind that you just said that there might be lineup changes, I mean, as it stands, Michael Backlund is on pace to play all 82 games this year. That's something he's done now a couple times in his career and later in his career as well. Obviously, it speaks to his fitness, but there's also a toughness, I assume, there that comes with just playing through some pain over the last couple of years.
Yeah, you don't play or try to play every game without playing through things. So, one, I think you alluded to it, Michael's in probably the best shape of anybody on our team. And nowadays, everybody's in shape. It's not like it maybe used to be where he is the leader in that department, and there's a reason why he's able to keep himself in the position where he can play all games. We have other guys this year too, like Mackenzie, I believe, Naz, I believe, and Sharon. So we have some guys that have done a good job of playing through things and finding a way to make sure they take care of themselves when they're away from the rink.
Those guys aren't 21 either, right? I mean, I'm not saying they're old, but they're a little bit older than some of the younger guys. What does that speak to?
Well, the three of them for sure. I mean, I think part of it's maturity. They know how to handle days off. They know how to handle their time to get the maximum recovery that they need to have. Younger guys, they can bounce back a lot easier, and they have the ability to play through some things. But when you mature and get a little bit older, you know what you can and can't play through. And I think all three of those guys in different situations this year, they've had their fair share of bumps and bruises, but nothing that would keep them out of the lineup.
There's a significance to that, though, too, isn't there, Ryan, about playing 82? Like, that means something to guys?
Sure, absolutely. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, when you think about the travel, like this is a stretch. I think it's 6 games and 10 nights for us with travel. It's not easy on the players because you're not getting the proper rest that you'd like to have to get yourself back to the level you want to be at. And then they have to play at the highest level and against the top players like Mackenzie is an example, or Bax is an example. I mean, all 4 of those guys really. So you have to be sharp up here too. And all those guys have that, which is great to see for our group.
Mackenzie's a knockdown the door 20 goals, and Blake and Nas are close to 30 goals. You get the sense that those in-season milestones are motivators for those guys?
Sure. I mean, they matter. I mean, at the end of the day, you want it to be always about a team game, but at the same time, there are things like getting 30 goals or getting 20 for a defenseman that matter, and teammates know that too. So there's situations where if they can, they're going to do everything they can to try to help those guys score that goal. So as much as it is about team, those milestones are important because it solidifies the type of season that certain individuals have had for us.
Is that a possibility for tomorrow?
Not for tomorrow, but we've got our fingers crossed for the final one.
That sort of milestones to Quest. Like when you talk about teammates wanting to see guys get there, is that almost the payback for the unselfish nature that put those guys on the brink of those milestones in the first place?
Sure. I mean, you could talk about all of them, but we talked about the good guy yesterday in Blake, so he's kind of front of mind. He puts people first. So when he's close to a milestone, because he is that way, guys want to repay or reward him for that. So as I mentioned, hopefully we can get him back into one of these games and he can get to that level.
What are the reports on Klapka since you last saw him?
Again, like he's been one of their more consistent guys lately, and he's gotten back to being a little bit more physical with his play and being hard on the forecheck and in front of the net. So we'll see. We'll give him an opportunity now to get himself into some games, and we'll go from there.
Was that physicality something you saw kind of stray a little bit?
No, not so much. I mean, down there, but there's a certain role that he has to play up here, and he's a big man that's got good speed, that has a good skill set for his size. But we feel he's most effective when he's rumbling around in the offensive zone, hard on the forecheck, creating loose pucks. That's when we feel like he's at his best and he can really help our team in the future. So that's what we're looking for out of him.